I'd like to introduce our guest speaker today, Dr. Dreher. And from last week, you know what he's done to help me, and he's helped thousands of others throughout the Valley for over 20 years. Dr. Dreher is known as Dr. Fitness, and he's earned the academic and physical fitness credentials to back that up. He'll be talking with you today about nutrition, exercise, disease prevention, and reversal, which was the focus of his PhD work. He's a former Mr. Universe and Mr. America, a Presidential Sports Achievement Awardee. He's lectured nationally and internationally. He founded the Fitness Institute and works with the new Solutions by Dr. Fitness here in Phoenix. And you just don't have to, you're not just going to be able to just hear him today. You can hear him every Saturday at 5 o'clock on his radio show on KFYI 550 AM. So please give a warm welcome for Dr. Dreher.
Last time I heard that song was when I posted it back in 1983. It's a long time ago. Good morning, everybody. Everyone stand up for a moment, okay? One of the best ways to get a person's attention is to make them stand, because it increases blood circulation. It keeps them awake. I don't want you falling asleep in my presentation. I'll only have you here for about an hour. And sit back down. Most of you probably need to listen to speak because I was your age one time. I didn't get to bed till probably about 10 o'clock. Probably early, most of you. And we're talking about, you're laughing. So when we talk about prevention, we talk about disease and diet, and making these changes before you have the health effects that are related to a bad lifestyle. We need to look at a couple of things. We need to look at the fact that today, that's my friend Austin Powers. I met him one time. Sort of a funny looking guy. Now, he's going to give it to you straight through, just like I am. And when we look at this in general, we have to ask the question, why are so many Americans becoming obese? If you look at the percentages back in the 1960s versus what it is today, you see there's a dramatic shift in the number of Americans that have weight issues. Now, this represents just a small percentage of the population that is overweight. We're talking about obesity here. Because today, 75% of our American population is overweight. The difference between being overweight and being obese is just a matter of a few pounds. And it's the second most leading preventable disease or cause of death in the United States. In fact, there's a lot of experts that now feel that obesity is the leading cause of death in America. So first off, we look at what's causing this problem. Why are Americans obese? Why are Americans having such a fight, a battle, okay, with weight? In fact, this past week, in the news, in fact, the last couple of days, they were talking about little kids in school, people stepping in from the government and taking away their lunches and giving them what they thought was good. Well, if you look at that, this is what the government bases our diet should look like. That 55% of our diet should come from carbohydrates, which are going to be your bread, your rice, your pasta, your corn products, your cereals, your fruit, and vegetables, and 15% from protein. And even though they lump beans in with protein, it really shouldn't be. That's going to be your meats, like your chicken, your fish, okay, your regular red meat, okay, pork, things like this. 30% from fat. But when you compare us what we're actually getting, you can see that Americans are actually doing far better when it comes to fat consumption than what the government actually recommends, because presently what Americans actually are eating is about 22% of their calories from fat, 55% carbohydrates, and 23% protein. When we look at this, though, we have to understand the fact of the matter is, when we look at carbohydrates, most people do not understand that carbohydrates and sugars are exactly the same thing. In fact, you ask an average person, You read a label, it'll say how much sugar is in that product. When you read the label, it says 3 grams of sugar, say how many grams of carbohydrate? 20. They think it's two different things. There's a reason for it, it's called marketing. So we look at the breakdown of our U.S. food consumption, the percentage of calories. 63% of our diet is from processed foods. Processed foods. Okay, so what does that mean? Anything that you take and change it in some way or form. When we look at nature in general, what are the foods that we consume that we do not change? The proteins, in the form of animal protein, fish, chicken, meat, okay, vegetables, and fruit. Everything else has to be processed to be consumed. When we look at also what's causing problems, we have what we call food demons, like white flour, which would include bread, pasta, white rice, cakes. Okay, if it's not white, I'll tell you not to eat it. Look at glutinous grains like wheat and barley and rye, which have their own problems on top of being in the starch family. And then we look at sports drinks and things like that, and soda pop, which we'll talk at length about a little bit later. Then we have those foods that we have a tendency to disguise a little bit, because there's not much difference in some of those foods are things like whole wheat. I sort of laugh when I hear the term whole wheat, okay, or whole grains. Because the difference between a whole grain, okay, and white flour is fiber. That's the difference. Okay, because if you take the fiber out and you process it to make it white, they put nutrients back into it in the form of vitamins and minerals. Okay, but the difference is the fiber. The processed grains are not much better than white bread. And we have the breakfast cereals like honey nut Cheerios. We have misleading ads. In fact, there's not a week that doesn't go by that I don't see a commercial on television that advertises some cereal company and then telling the people that are watching this commercial that 95% of Americans don't get enough whole grains. They use examples like Honey Nut Cheerios, okay, and Lucky Charms. Can you believe that? Lucky Charms? Okay, so they're telling us that these foods are healthy for us. And the average person has no idea. Then we get to soy. The soy had this big explosion. Okay, back about the 1980s, soy became what we call a health food. Most people don't understand the history of soy. We didn't use soy as a food product until more recent in this society. And back in the 1980s, there was a couple of huge manufacturers of soy, food companies. Dr. Daniel Medlin, I think, was one of them. We actually petitioned the United States government to get soy put on what's called the GRAS list. And everybody knows what the GRAS list is. Okay, that stands for generally recognized as safe. And most of the foods before the 1950s that were being consumed in this country, okay, didn't have this list. But after that period of time, if there's a food product that had to go on this list, well, soy was never put on that list. So these companies petitioned the United States government to get put on that list because they wanted to take and use this stuff in our diet. And the problem is you have a couple of doctors who came forward from the FDA stating all the problems that were with it was with soy. Okay, how it affected the thyroid, how it increased certain risks of cancers, has anti-nutrient properties. Okay? And so what they did is they put a petition and they went to the back door. Back door meaning they went to the health food industry, which has no regulations. Okay, to market it now, because every time you hear soy, you health products. Okay. So officially, the only thing soy has been really approved for, outside of the fat and the oils they use in certain things, is for glue in boxes. That's a bit more too. Okay. When we look at food as well, we look at the different foods and the amount of sugar that's in food. Again, this is misleading too. You look at coffee from McDonald's, you look at soda pop like Mountain Dew, you look at Starbucks, Bucks, you look at Cheerios, you look at orange juice. These all represent the amount of sugar in the form of sugar cubes that represent one teaspoon, okay, in these products. And this could be misleading as well. Because if you look at Cheerios, and you see 1 teaspoon, it's only there's 1 teaspoon of added sugar to the product, with total carbohydrates in it goes way up, okay, making this not a really healthy food. Now we look at the effects of what obesity actually is doing. We see a dramatic increase in diabetes. In fact, diabetes is epidemic. We're looking at close to 30 million Americans are now diabetic. 30 million, with about 95% of them being what we call type 2. Most people don't understand there's a difference between type 1 and type 2. The average consumer does. You guys do because of what you do here. Okay. Type 2 is usually the result of having the body overloaded with insulin, which then causes their cells to shut down so they can't take any more sugar in. And then the additional insulin is being produced from the body to deal with the blood sugar, takes and converts this added food, added sugar, into fat. These people become extremely heavy. So we look at this, we know that the only way to reverse this is to do something about our diets. So when we look at diabetics, I remember back in the 1980s, they used to tell diabetics, you eat more carbohydrates. Didn't make any sense to me. And now they're finally coming around to the fact that maybe we need to alter the amount of carbohydrates in the diet for diabetics in general, but they're still too far from where they should be. So, when our doctors tell us, and I'm sure you've heard this before, you are what you eat, you actually really are what you eat. And we know that nutrition in general can be modified, it can be changed. But some of this comes with understanding how the body actually works, okay, and what foods we do best with. And this epidemic of obesity is costing us a lot, most of you because you're young. Don't know how much it really is. You look at these numbers in general. This past year, the cost of obesity cost our country $168 billion. Okay, it's $168,000 million. That's 17% of all medical spending. That's just the cost of obesity. It's not tied into the cost of taking care of people who have health issues that are related to being overweight. They are projecting by the year 2030 that obesity, the cost of obesity in this country is going to be close to $1 trillion. That's 1/3 of our federal budget this year. $1 trillion. So we're going to have a dramatic spike in the cost unless, of course, we get our hands on the problem. So when you look at the increase in obesity and its epidemic proportion, in a period of 8 years, obesity increased 38%. 50% of all adults, as people our age, and 17% of children are obese. In fact, Arizona, get this for kids. Arizona is the third worst state in the country when it comes to child obesity. 30% of children in the state are obese. The average American is 23 pounds overweight, and 80% of the overweight adults become overweight children become overweight adults. That's probably even higher than that. And they're predicting by the year 2030 that 86% of Americans will be obese. In fact, just experts are telling us by 2040, if we do not do something, that 100% of the American population will be obese by 2040. So the scramble is on, what should we do? We look at the harmful effects of poor nutrition and sedentary lifestyle. We look again at obesity and diabetes, okay, which is costing the American population a lot of money. Okay, because you're looking in the next 18 years, it's going to go up to close to $1 trillion. Somebody has to pay for it. Somebody has to pay for it. And they attribute 162,000 deaths to obesity-related problems. And then we look at all the problems in regards to what a lot of experts now link as the major cause of all disease, which is inflammation. In fact, if you go back to a 2004 article in Time magazine, okay, on the front it says inflammation. It talks about all the different conditions that researchers have linked inflammation, Alzheimer's, cancer, diabetes, obesity, and heart disease. And how they came upon this information is you had these guys that were doing their own independent stuff get together and start to talk. So what do you see here? What do you see here? Oh my God, we saw exactly the same thing, inflammation. Now we look at what's causing the inflammatory problems, and it's tied into our diets in a major way. I'll talk about that real bit. In fact, recently they just had a convention in Texas back in last year where they brought some new information forward in regards to cancer research. And what they showed is they actually took a model of different mice. They implanted human breast cells into human cancer cancer breast cells tissue in the mice. Okay, and what they found was the actual rate of the tumor growth in these mice was slowed dramatically as the carbohydrate consumption in the diet went down. They had the best effect of 50% carbohydrates. Plus, they actually did it, they came up with some of the evidence from the study that was done on women showing exactly the same thing. So more and more of your scientists are now talking about maybe we need to relook at this diet. And in fact, if you want to go online and look up Dr. Craig Thompson, he's the president and CEO of Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. In a recent lecture that he did, okay, on cancer, he says towards the end of the lecture, okay, he asked the students, he put up on a slide, he listed fats, proteins, and carbohydrates, and he said to them, how many in here, I'm going to ask you the same question, feel that fat increases your risk of cancer? Raise your hands. Raise your hand. About half. How many feel that protein increases your risk of cancer? Raise your hands. Smaller. How many feel that carbohydrates increase your risk of cancer? Raise your hands. About the same as fat. It's about 50-50. Then at the end of his lecture, he said, fat, 0. This is not me saying, this is not Dr. Fitness talking about this. This is the guy from Sloan Kettering. If you get cancer, this is where you want to go. 0. He said protein in the middle. Carbohydrates, major. So they dramatically increase the risk of cancer. Dramatically. That's his words. So a lot of us, we need to understand why that happens. So if you base it, if you tie cancer and sugar together, look at the PET scan. What does it do? What do they use? They trace those cancer cells up because they suck up sugar like a sponge. Okay, so wouldn't it make any sense if you have a scientific mind, if something sucks up sugar like a sponge, that's its food source? Sugar means carbohydrates. And wouldn't it be the carbohydrates in the diet that feeds the cancer? You would think the answer would be yes. He said it is. He's saying this is based on what they have seen in research. So the dramatic change in our diet has to be not in the fat we eat. And of course, you see the average American, based on what our government's telling us, is consuming about 22% of our calories from fat, lower than what they're recommending. Not in the protein we eat, because most people don't eat an excessive amount of protein, particularly women. But the amount of carbohydrates that we consume. We eat too much of this stuff. First thing that happens when you get up in the morning, okay, I want you to raise your hands on this. Who had a bowl of cereal today? Okay. Who had a bagel today? All right. Who had a glass of orange juice today? Okay, who had some boiled eggs today? Who had a cup of Greek, non-fat yogurt? Good man. The reason why I say this is because Greek yogurt is low in carbohydrates, high in protein. Because most people are going to think breakfast cereal, just like the advertisements, they're healthy for us. That's sugar. So they have a bowl of cereal for breakfast, a glass of juice, a piece of whole grain bread, a bowl of butter. Butter's bad. And they just consume nothing but a diet of plain old sugar. And they go to school or go to work and man, I just ate a healthy breakfast. Your weight doesn't change, cholesterol doesn't go down. If they're diabetic, they get worse. And by about 10 o'clock, they're not like Dr. Fitness all ready to go because they've been up since 3 o'clock. They're ready to go to sleep because of the excess of carbohydrates, the insulin response they get from them. Of course, then mid-morning, they've got to have a snack. So they have a can of diet soda. Oh, that's so good for us because it doesn't have any sugar in it. Pure old battery acid that they pour in the body. But it is. Do you realize what the police use when they go out, they max insulin, let's say someone's heard this thing. They get the blood off the wall using this stuff. You ever take the corrosion off your battery, pour a soda pop on it? Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Okay, what do you think this stuff does to you? How many people in here drink diet soda? Be honest. Look at this. This is good. Do you realize how bad this stuff smells? Diet soda. Your body's largely water. You're like a swimming pool. If you had a fish tank, okay, with freshwater fish in it, or even ocean fish, would you put them in a soda pop? No, of course not. They're going to die. They're going to die real quickly. But that's what you're doing to yourself. All you have is this stuff called skin holding stuff in. Got to stop this. So bad. And the difference between the real high octane stuff, the high fructose corn syrup, that's good for us. The other stuff that has the artificial sweetness, and that's even better for us, is very little, except for the sweet taste and the added calories it gives us. Because the effect it has on the body is exactly the same thing. Of course, researchers do this bit. They scratch their head.
I wonder why diet soda just doesn't seem they're increasing their heart attack risk much things that have to do with health, and the diabetes and heart disease.
Can't figure out because they're pouring battery acid in their body. They're not supposed to be doing that. And of course, there was a brainy scientist, a Dr. Cynthia Kenyon, she's a geneticist, who presented her research. I don't think she won a Nobel Prize. A lot of her colleagues said she should have. But she actually did studies on earthworms. She isolated the two genes which they say we have the same ones. That turned aging on and aging off. She called the aging on gene, she called that the Grim Reaper gene. She called the aging off the Sweet 16 gene. One made us young, one made us old. When she studied these earthworms, she looked at their diets. And she found that the diets of the earthworm, sugar, turned on the Grim Reaper gene. Her studies were so convincing that she actually changed her diet to look like her. Like Dr. Fitz. When you can take a scientist and convince him on that, you've just done something. Now, we just talked about soda pop, so we're going to talk a little bit about music too. See what happens to your teeth when you drink soda? Now, on your subject, dentistry. Right? How many in here have heard of a guy named Weston A. Price? You know who he is. He actually got more into nutrition back in the late 1930s. Yeah, I think he was one of the founders of the American Dental Association, if I'm not mistaken. But he went out and actually looked at the different populations of the world. They still live in their natural setting. Like your paleontologists would do. There's not a lot of those tribal settings around. And I looked at these people and found they were extremely robust and very healthy. They didn't have any teeth problems. They didn't have crooked teeth. They didn't have any dental caries. Okay, none of these things were going on with these individuals. So they looked at their diet. Okay. They found that the diet didn't have any white flour or any sugar in it, any processed foods. They were higher in fat, higher in protein than what the average diet is today. And I can relate to this because when I was training, because I'm 50, almost 57 years old, I look pretty good. Keep myself in good right, more than right every day. At about 24, 25 years of age, I went in to see the dentist. And at that point, I was on perfect health store diet. Perfect. Whole grain, high carbohydrates, didn't eat anything processed whatsoever. Okay, I drank that diet pop because I thought it was good for me. Okay, and I had 19 cavities. You had to drill 19 holes in my head to fill it. I couldn't figure that out because I'd been told that sugars would cause cavities. Well, I wasn't eating sugar. I wasn't eating sugar. 19 cavities. Okay, I already had periodontal disease at that age. Brushed my teeth, as I was told to do, did all the things, but still had the problem. And I was able to reverse some of that in the last 20 years by changing my diet to the way it is today. So when we look at pH in general, we have to understand how this actually works in the body. This bit about us being largely water is because we are largely water. About 70 to 75% of our body is water. And in fact, the author of one of your textbooks in medical school, textbook in medical physiology, Arthur C. Guyton, talks about the relevancy of pH and your health in general, how important that is. Okay, to give you an idea how important this is, how many in here know what the pH of your blood is? Arterial blood. Raise your hands. Come on, guys. You're supposed to be smart as all the medical students. 7.35 to 7.45. 7.0 is neutral. That's pure water. It has as much hydrogen, acid, and less oxygen. Same equal amounts, which is basic. So 7.35 is alkaline. All right. Venous blood, where you have all the garbage in it, if you're drinking soda pop, fruit, bag food, stuff like that, 7.32 to 7.42. Your blood pH cannot change. If it changes, just like you kick bucket, your body constantly in the struggle to try to keep the toxins that are being dumped into the blood at that pH. And if it doesn't succeed after a while, you die. So where are these toxins coming from? It's coming from your body's metabolizing food and drink and soda and a bad attitude and lack of exercise. It's true, it's all tied together. So we look at this pH in general. To keep it balanced, what does your body do to do that? It takes the minerals, calcium, the magnesium, and the potassium, and the sodium, okay, and the bicarbonate, and all these different things to keep that blood buffer, to keep you alive. If the blood changes, again, you die. You can have a change in cellular level, slightly, for a short period of time. Okay, but then the environment, the cellular, the fluid environment changes for an extended period of time. The cell becomes inflamed. See the link? Inflammation, disease, all of them tied together. So it's the pH environment that helps to regulate the atmosphere of your cell. And the pH environment is tied into our nutrition. And again, our attitude. So what do I recommend? I can tell you what I do. Okay, back about 1991, 92, I was diagnosed with disseminated valley fever. Now, how many people here are natives of Arizona? How many people here know what valley fever is? Good, you should. There are about 150,000 cases of valley fever a year here in the state of Arizona. How many here know what disseminated valley fever is? That's pretty good too. I had that kind. 1 to 2% of people who get valley fever get that kind of valley fever. If you look at my neck real close, you see that the lump a little bit sticks out more than the other side. I had mine in the sternoclavicular joint, and I grew this bump in my neck overnight. At that time, I was probably about early 1990s, maybe about 240 pounds, 245, 205 now. And overnight, just showed up. Okay, I went down to my doctor. He looked at it, pushed it, and I said, "We know that's near. That's only the rest of the doctor." And they said I had synovitis. He said, "The only way to deal with this would help." He said, "You need to burst this now. Let's go cut the bursa off." So we did. He's pumping synovial fluid, even though it wasn't bursa. They right from the port they put in, drained. It took 6 weeks to close up. And then one formed again. It wasn't supposed to be there. And so I waited another year and went into another doctor. This time it was an orthopedic surgeon. I went behind the collarbone, took it off of the base, the whole person, dug into the collarbone, dislocated the collarbone, okay, at the joint, and it was still pumping fluid. And this time he says to me, this doctor, he said, "We got material out," he said, "that we see with rheumatoid arthritis and these white spots." He said, "You got rheumatoid arthritis?" I said, "No." We see the same thing. And so he said his solution to fix the problem, cut into the collarbone. And because my areas in exercise, I mean, I know about mechanics. Okay? I want my head going like this. Okay, and because of my shoulder, I need to use this for exercise. Okay, so I didn't do anything about it. About a year later, I went to a tumor specialist. This guy was smart. Okay, when he went in, he cleaned it up. He looked at the garbage he took out, called me on the phone, and asked me if I was infected by a fever. He said we found some spores in some of the slides. Not all of them, but some of them. He said it was an infectious disease. And I'll tell you what he said. Walking in his office, he had 2 young kids. And he said, "You have the worst kind of valley fever you can get. You treat it like cancer. It never goes away. And you will die from it." That's what he said. It was kind of that. He said, you're going to die. You're going to put on a power plant. Okay, at that time, my HDL cholesterol was 10. And I didn't eat fat. Didn't eat fat. 10 HDL. So we're going to push on a power plant with fungal joint, put down by 3 conversion muscles, 4 nuts, 2 pounds, all different various types you can get. And he said, if I can die, he told me about an 18-year-old female who was just diagnosed, died from it. She was descending. I knew of a Mr. America from California, Dave Johns from 1977, who died from it. And here I'm being told I have the same exact thing. I'm thinking, I've got kids, I've got a wife, I live my life, I've got a few, I can help people, this kind of stuff. I'm not ready to kick the bucket yet. Dr. Fix is not going to do this. So I started going back into my textbooks, reading, researching. Okay, and found out it was me dying. This is fungus, this is a mold, and yeast, and all this other good stuff that likes to eat what? When you grow in a petri dish, you sugar and what? There it goes. You just sugar and grow on. Is it? And I'm eating 400 or 500 grams of carbohydrates a day. Again, not processed. Wholesome stuff. They say to eat an apple store. Like you ever see somebody eat an apple store run their teeth falling out. Yeah. I started changing my diet because these drugs are very powerful. They want to be in every 3 months to have a liver test done, which I did. And I started changing my diet. It took me 6 to 7 years to get to the point where I didn't need antifungals. It was 2 years after I had taken my last antifungal, I went to the infectious disease doctor. I still have a title gun, which tells if your body's active against infection. That's small. He says to me, Lance, you're doing great. Your titers coming up 1 to 2, 1 to 4. Fabulous. I said, Doc, I haven't taken drugs in 2 years. He got beating down. I understand he's still going to die. He says, you want another opinion? I can send you some. I said, no, I don't want another some treatment just in case I need help. Explain what I did. And then he told me. He said, you know, funny you say that. I've got an AIDS patient that I work with for treatment. But exactly the same results doing the same type of diet. So, I have to tell you what that diet is. Low in carbohydrates. When we look at low carbohydrates, what can it do for us? And I've been off the medications for over 10 years now. I'm still going to get into the type. We see a decrease in inflammatory markers. We're going to lower carbohydrate intake. In fact, one of the people I actually train, I do some training too. They had scheduled surgery for her ankle. She had chronic inflammation throughout her body, pain everywhere. And within a month of changing her diet, all of that changed after 2 years. We see a decreased risk in heart attacks, okay, cancer, diabetes. In fact, 7 out of 10 heart attacks occur in people who have normal cholesterol. Normal cholesterol, 7 out of 10. Okay, what the scientists are telling us, these people have a different type of plaque buildup called a vulnerable plaque, okay, or unstable plaque, where the actual plaque is eroding into the wall of the artery. It's not closing the artery. And the calcium level, plaster piercing, actually bringing away the artery. And what they have done, they went in with catheters because you really can't see this kind of plaque. It's a little difficult to detect. There's a catheter went up in there. Check the pH of the plaque, which is low, indicating acidity. Increased temperature, right? Increased vulnerability. And when you change your diet, it changes all those various factors. We also know that the decrease in diabetes, we know that we've seen people that are off of diabetes medications. We've seen people with autoimmune disease reverse that process. We've seen tremendous differences with IBS. We had a gal who had IBS 20 years of her life, 7 different medications within a year of changing her diet. It was off all of one drug. All the doctor she was doing, he said that wouldn't work. As far as cholesterol is concerned, triglycerides, we see an improvement in that. In fact, in my case, again, I'm almost 57 years old. Okay, my total cholesterol is 157. I have an HDL of 74, an LDL of 79, and I have 36 triglycerides. I don't take medication. That's all in the reversal of my diet. You know, my HDL was 10 before. So this is what I recommend for people who are trying to make these changes. This is my diet. This is for ladies. Now, I don't count calories because I feel counting calories. Now, I'm going to address this, everybody. If you had a weight issue, will you count your calories the rest of your life? Every day, measure stuff out, put that little scale, weigh stuff. If you're measuring cups in the schools, would you do that? No, I wouldn't. That's crazy. Absolutely not. Plus, it doesn't work. Because when we look at obesity in discussion, the reason why we have so many people that are overweight, everybody's on a diet all the time. We're not making lifestyle changes. We need to make a lifestyle change. If you don't make a lifestyle change, you're going to gain weight back. Until we address that problem, we're going to have a problem. So what I recommend for ladies, just to give you ideas, okay, 40% of your caloric, your food intake should come from fat. It should come from butter, good type of oils, like olive oil, and that is it. Fats you find with kind of trim cups of meat, chicken, things like this. 20% from carbohydrates, which equates to 300 calories or 75 grams, and about 150 grams of protein, 67 grams of fat. Now my diet looks like this. I've taken about, maybe, if I'm lucky, 2,000 calories a day. I've done it for many years. And I get about 105 grams of carbohydrates in a day, about 200 grams of protein, about that much fat. Controls the appetite, you know that. Because when you're taking fat, that makes you feel more satisfied and not as hungry. When you're taking more carbohydrates, you're always hungry. Because protein has its positive effects too as well, because protein turns up the metabolic rate, because it has what we call some specific dynamic action. It takes more energy to break protein down. So when you're taking more energy, it means your metabolism is turning up. That's why after somebody has a protein meal, they can actually get more. So, from there we move into exercise. And what's the importance of exercise? Dr. Pittman should tell us all about nutrition. What role does exercise have? If you're trying to lose weight, zero. Exercise does not make you lose weight. It won't happen. Not permanently. Will it help you maintain your weight? Yes. How does it do that? Because it gives you those chemicals, those endorphins, that makes you feel good. Okay. Those are mood elevators. It also lowers cortisol levels, stress hormones, increases serotonin. Okay, when you have the increase in those chemicals, then you're more satisfied, you're less hungry. Plus, we know when you exercise, it helps your body push that blood through 65,000 miles of blood vessels. I want you to think about this now. 32,500 miles of blood vessels are through a system of what we call heart arteries. And the rest of the way goes through the venous system, which is like a slow-moving turtle sitting in the chair. Those muscles that push and squeeze the garbage through the venous system are only used when you become active. The interesting thing about it, when you are physically fit, you have squeezing action of those muscles still going on while you're sitting. Okay, so exercise is critical, okay, the circulation. Absolutely essential in the body's removal of toxins in the system. Sweating, all those other various things. So exercise is absolutely critical. You have to exercise. How much do you need to exercise? 3 times a week. Minimum. 30 minutes at a whack. 30 minutes of exercise, not 30 minutes, 2 minutes of this. Okay, and 30 seconds of that. You go to a gym, you're sitting there like this. You ever watch me train? I do not stop. That's David. He knows he's steaming. This case like that was a Tasmanian devil guy that you see on TV in the cartoons. That's how I train. Because I don't have time to waste 30 minutes weight training without resting. Moving from one area of the body to the next. No rest, no break. Maximize the cardiovascular system, helps to maintain tone, strength, and all these various things. Plus we know that exercise helps to bring your blood sugar down and helps to raise your HDL. So here's some of the guidelines that I like to push on younger people when it comes to long health and life. In order for all these changes to happen, you have to have an appropriate attitude, because if you don't have a good attitude, nothing's going to happen. And you need to understand that fat doesn't make you fat or sick. Insulin does that. And that if you're following a reducing wellness program periodically, you need to reset your metabolism and your emotions by taking a break from the program. on a regularly scheduled basis. And what that means is, once in a while, take a day off from exercise. Your body can use that break. And then take a day off from what you're eating normally to keep your body set point normal. Because what people do when they go on some form of a dietary change to lose weight, they never take a break. Your body reaches a set point. Just like we gain weight to go up, we do the same thing when we're going down. We go up steps, we don't go straight line. So you're going to hit that step going down at a point where you maintain that weight for quite a period of time before it kicks back in. By taking this additional food and by breaking your diet, it works best with carbohydrates. The body thinks you're out of this deprivation starvation state and goes back in gear. And all of a sudden, a couple days later, you lost 3 or 4 pounds. So if you do these things and you follow these guidelines, you'll be successful. You'll be able to make these lifestyle changes. It's not hard. Key again is to make the changes, understand the human body, how it actually works, base a little bit of science, okay, and get yourself in a program that's manageable. If you do that, you'll be exercising you're my age and you'll keep your weight up. If you do not, you're going to suffer all the problems that we're seeing in this country today presently. With heart attacks, strokes, diabetes, cancer is not going to get better. And the only ones who can put their hands on it, okay, get the bull by the horns, is you and I. And we're in charge of this. It's our bodies. Okay, it's time to start to take care of ourselves. So if you have any questions, raise your hand and I'll see if I can answer this one. Yes. See, I don't count. I just gave that as an example since there are great things. Yeah, to give you an idea. I take, in the morning when I get up, this morning I had a cup of Greek yogurt, and I had a banana, right? Then I went to work out and train some people at about 4 to 5 in the morning, and I worked out with it. And then I had an apple. Okay, that's since 3 o'clock. When I go into my other job, when I'm done here, I'll have 4 eggs. I have eggs probably 6, 7 days a week. Because eggs don't cost us. And then for lunch, most of the time I'll have a piece of meat, chicken, easier to transport, not have to worry about refrigeration. And then I'll have another piece of fruit in the middle of the afternoon. I drink water all day long. 3 of those. And pure water. And then I'll have my dinner, which is going to be either some form of meat or chicken or fish and a big, huge salad. Absolutely massive. And I put some tomatoes in it, some feta cheese, and some olives in it, and some onions. And I use all Williams dressing, because it doesn't really use any chemicals in it, it's low carbohydrate. And that's it for the whole day. That's not a lot of food. And then I'll take 2 breaks a week. I call those cheat meals. And that's for your sanity. Because we use food for emotions too. You need to understand this. We're talking a time this big, that food is to be used for comfort. We fall back on food during times of stress, during times of happiness, at weddings, parties, anniversaries, deaths. We all eat around this thing because we're taught that. So in order to keep you into that rhythm, because it's not very healthy emotionally to break that pattern, okay, you need to take a break period. So I take 2 a week, usually Friday night. We'll have pizza with the kids, a couple of glasses of wine. And Saturday night, in most cases, my wife and I do. My wife and my kids will watch. In fact, Debbie, stand up. All right, Debbie. She doesn't like it. But she's like this too, she'll tell you. Now, it doesn't mean your struggles in life won't go away when it comes to weight, but you know then how to manage. The problem most people have today is they think that it's the metabolism, I'm destined to be overweight, my genes are bad. Hey, believe me, everybody in this room, if your ancestors didn't get past the last ice age, you wouldn't be here. Okay, so what happened during the last ice age? Ice went all the way down. Half the earth was covered with this stuff. What did they eat? They didn't eat bread. They didn't eat pasta, rice, or corn. They ate game, they ate fish, anything they could forage that could live through that environment. They didn't have our diet today. So we had to inherit the ability to store fat. survival. Without it, you crow it. Okay, so we have those genes. So this bit of here, I have a bad metabolism, it's bad less of this. No. You have a metabolism. You have a bad metabolism. Some metabolisms are more sensitive to others. But if you change the diet, and you watch the carbohydrate intake, you bring down insulin, your body over time will start to reverse some of the problems that we've created. Okay, and use fat for energy. It's that simple. It's going to be. Yes. Next question. Agree? Never make them feel guilty about it, because if you make them feel guilty, they're out the door. It's not going to help them. That's what I tell men, because I'm also a certified life coach. You know, you don't jump on your wives or girlfriends and say, no, you do this way. Never say that. You know what? They already know that. You don't have to tell them that. So you try to offer them support, so you know, if they try to get them to tell you they have an issue, they'd like to lose some weight, and then you can offer your advice. If you're dealing with a patient and you say, you need to take off some, because they know that. But again, if they approach you, then say, here's what you need to do, set some guidelines for yourself, set a 30-day goal, a 60-day and a 90-day goal, short, okay, medium-term and long-term goals, right, and try to make them stay to those goals. But again, you can turn them into a life coach instead of an office too. And then maybe you want to refer them out to somebody to help coach them through that. Because sometimes issues of life go way beyond just overeating and cause of that.
You're talking about the meat side, you said fish and chicken.
Fish, chicken, and meat.
How bad is a steak?
Good stuff. No, it's not the fat. It's not me that's saying it. It's Dr. Thompson, who's saying Kettering's saying it. When they ask them, does the fat doesn't cause any increase in cancer? It doesn't. Here's the difference. Here's what fat will do to us when we're on a high carbohydrate diet. Okay, we have your essential fatty acids, your omega-3s and omega-6s. Omega-3s take inflammation down. DHA, EPA. Okay. Your omega-6 cause inflammation. The great modulator of this whole process is insulin in the liver. It's what controls the conversion of these fats into inflammatory prostaglandins or anti-inflammatory. Okay, so if you're on a high carbohydrate diet, you eat the wrong blend of fats, like vegetable oil, things like that, a lot of animal fat, which has a lot of these omega-6s in it based on what they're feeding these animals, then your inflammatory markers go up. If you drop the carbohydrate content down, the insulin goes down, and the control of this mechanism changes. The inflammation goes down. I mean, it goes away, but it goes down.
Got time for one more question. One more question.
Yes.
How do you cook your meat?
Well, a grill, either George Foreman, usually grill it. I usually have a rear, because there's natural enzymes in the meat itself. It helps you digest it. When you overcook the meat, you're killing off those enzymes. It makes the meat more difficult to eat. If you're worried about bacteria, outside, just sear it. And you're okay. Okay? Here's the thing. Okay, when it comes to organic, each state has its own requirements of what they're allowed. They allow companies to basically certify something as organic. If it says 100% certified organic, then it is. If it just says organic, ignore the rest, because most likely 15% is organic, the rest is not. The problem with organic foods, particularly vegetables and fruit, is the amount of mold on them. Unless you get all those new guys off there, you don't want to be moldy food. So organic's another way of getting you to pay more.